Hello, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 3:30. Members of the public are invited to participate in the meeting of the Committee of Adjustments by attending the meeting in person at the Municipal Office Council chambers located at 10227 Ilderton Road in Ilderton. Members of the public may also access the meeting, which will be live streamed on our Middlesex Center YouTube channel, or by contacting the municipal deputy clerk to receive a registration link to join the meeting electronically. Members of the public wishing to appear as a delegation can register for the meeting by visiting middlesexcenter.ca/participating-council-meeting or by contacting the municipal deputy clerk at 519-666-0190 by 4:30 on the Monday of the week of the scheduled meeting. All requests to delegate are subject to provisions of the Middlesex Center Committee of Adjustment Procedure Bylaw. Members of the public can choose to delegate in person or by electronic participation. Accessible formats and communication supports are available upon request. There's no additions to the agenda to note. Members of the committee, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest to note? Okay, so next up we have the adoption of the minutes from December 17th Committee of Adjustment meetings. We have a motion that the minutes of the December 17th, 2025 Committee of Adjustment meeting be adopted as printed. Do we have a mover? Councillor Coles and Councillor Arts. All in favor? All opposed? And that is carried. Okay, for current applications, members of the public that wish to receive further notification of any of the applications being considered today, I ask that you please send an email to the deputy clerk at clerk@middlesexcenter.ca requesting further notification. Please be advised that comments expressed and written materials presented are a matter of public record. If you have any questions on any of the applications being heard today, we ask that you direct those to the appropriate planner on file. Members of the public that have requested to speak will be given a maximum of 5 minutes to address council and provide comments on the application. In keeping with our procedural bylaw and our R-zone policy, I would remind all of our meeting participants to use respectful language and uphold our values of cooperation, trust, and openness. So our first item, 5.1, is an application for minor variance A29-2025 at 14137 Ilderton Road. 14137 Ilderton Road. And Dan Fitzgerald is in attendance to speak to this file.
Through the chair, thanks, committee members. So application for minor variance A29-2025 is an application that's seeking relief from the maximum size and height permissions for accessory buildings in the agricultural A1 zone. So the applicant in this case is requesting a maximum size of 223 square meters or 2,400 square feet, whereas the bylaw permits a maximum size of 165 square meters or 1,776 square feet. Additionally, they are seeking a height of 9.14 meters, whereas the bylaw permits a maximum height of 6.5 meters. So the effect of the variance in this particular case is to permit an accessory building for a residential related purpose on the second story of the proposed agricultural building, where the main floor is to be used as an agricultural use. So the property is located on the south side of Ilderton Road. They are located in an agricultural area. It's bordered primarily by agricultural lands that maintain crop production. It also does abut a rural residential lot to the east. The lands consist of an existing single detached dwelling, the private associated services, as well as an existing drive shed and agricultural lands. It is designated agricultural area in Middlesex County's official plan and Middlesex Center's official plan, and it's zoned agricultural A1 zone in the bylaw. So as per discussions with the applicant, it is their intention to remove the existing drive shed that's located on the property and replace it with this new structure. The applicant is proposing to use the main floor as a storage space for the existing agricultural use on the lands, but also included a residential accessory portion of space on the second story, and their intended use is for recreational and storage purposes. So as noted, the application was circulated in advance of the meeting today. No external comments were received, noting any concerns. I have reviewed the proposal against the Planning Act tests. So as indicated in the planning report, I found that the requested size does meet the intent of the official plan zoning bylaw and is an appropriate use of lands, and it could be considered minor in nature. As well, in terms of the height, I would say the same thing, given that the existing structure is already on site and it's located behind the principal dwelling behind trees. So for these reasons, I am recommending approval of the amended application and recommendations, subject to a condition that the accessory building be constructed in the same general location as shown on the plan. So thank you, and I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dan. Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to comment on the application?
Maybe him over there.
No, okay. I believe we have two watching in case they're needed to, two online in case they are needed. Does anyone on the committee have any questions? Councillor Shipley?
Thank you. Through the chair to Dan, just looking for some clarification, Dan, on attachment number 3 site plan. 489 meters squared. What is that exactly? The old building or the new building, or that's 5,000 square feet?
Yeah, through the chair. So that's just an approximation of the existing structure that's on site.
Existing one. Okay.
Yeah. The footprint of the new building, I believe, is 40 by 100, so 4,000 or so square feet. But the upstairs, because of the hip gable style roof, it actually comes in.
Yeah.
So it doesn't create as large of a footprint on the upstairs. So it's approximately 2,400 feet on the second story.
Okay, thank you. So that is the old building then.
That's correct, yeah.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I have a couple of, so it's ARU going above the garage then. So that's,
Through the chair, I used the term residential, but I did not mean residential unit, just to support the existing residential use.
oh,
So it's not their intention right now to build an ARU on the second story.
okay, alrighty. So obviously any septic or any of those things that'll get taken care of through the building permit thing. My question, you said the amended application. I'm just wondering what you meant when you said the amended application.
So through the chair, I may have spoken out of line. I didn't mean amended. I don't know if maybe
Okay, thank you.
maybe that was a Freudian slip. No, there's no amendment to this particular
Okay,
application.
alrighty. So if nobody else has anything that they want to say, we have a motion that minor variance application A29-2025 filed by Stephen Kennedy for relief from the comprehensive zoning bylaw in order to permit a maximum gross floor area of 223 square meters or 2,400 square feet for all residential accessory buildings and a height of 9.14 meters or 30 feet for a property legally described as Concession 10 North, part of Lot 19, Part 1 on Reference Plan 33R 2394, known municipally as 14137 Ilderton Road in the municipality of Middlesex Center, County of Middlesex, be granted subject to the following conditions. And further, that the reason for granting minor variance application A29, be granted subject to the following conditions. That the accessory building be constructed in the same general location as shown in the applicant's sketch attached to this report. And further, that the reasons for granting the minor variance application A29-2025, the request complies with the general intent and purpose of Middlesex Center's official plan. The request complies with the general intent and purpose of Middlesex Center's Center's comprehensive zoning bylaw. The request is minor in nature, and the request represents appropriate development on the subject property. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Shipley, Councillor Coles, and all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you. Okay, next item, 5.2, we have an application for consent B15 2025 for 5385 Carriage Road. And Dan Fitzgerald is in attendance to provide an overview of the application. Thank you, Dan.
Through the chair, so application B15 2025 is an application for a consent to sever a requested surplus dwelling from a property that's located at 5385 Carriage Road. So this application does propose to sever the existing residence as well as the detached accessory building on a parcel with a frontage of approximately 73 meters along Carriage Road and an area of approximately 1.27 acres. The farmland would maintain a frontage of approximately 223 or 221.3 meters along Carriage Road and an area of 97.73 acres. 98.73. My apologies. The applicant is proposing to maintain the existing dwelling, detached garage, and private services on the severed land, and the remnant parcel would be maintained as farmland and crop production. So this parcel is located on the west side of Carriage Road. It is surrounded primarily by agricultural lands and crop production on all sides, as well as an existing large format residential dwelling to the east. It does maintain a separate well, septic system, and access from Carriage Road. The lands and hazard lands located on the center of the property do extend from the east to the north. They are regulated by the Lower Thames Valley Conservation Authority, but they are entirely outside of the proposed area of the severance. So I have reviewed the proposed severance against the Planning Act tests. I am satisfied that the farm consolidation is occurring in this case. The house is considered habitable. It is constructed at least 10 years ago. It does maintain its own access, and the severed lands would be limited to the residential use as well as the associated private services. So I have included standard conditions to address any notes of concerns issued by any departments. As a result of the severance, it just noted that the applicant would be required to rezone the severed parcel. So included as a condition is a requirement for the applicant to rezone the remnant lands to an agricultural A3 zone, thereby removing any future permissions to construct another dwelling. The severed portion would be required to be rezoned to a surplus residence zone, recognizing the residential character of the lot. So through circulation of this particular application to the public, I did receive comments related to concerns about the existing farming practices on the property, specific to the use of biosolids. So these types of fertilizer applications are regulated by the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks, and permits are required prior to their application. It is generally considered to be outside of our scope in terms of planning of this application, and it's outside of our jurisdictional authority, as this is something that's regulated by the province. So as noted in the report, I am satisfied that the proposal does meet all the requirements of the provincial planning statement, the county official plan, and Middlesex Center's official plan. As such, I am recommending approval of consent file B15 2025, subject to the conditions that are outlined in the planning report. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to comment on the application? Oh, I'm sorry. Adam McCallum, the agent, is in attendance virtually to speak to the application. Oh, he's declined? Okay, so he doesn't have anything to say. All righty. So does anyone in the committee have any questions? Go ahead, Councillor Coles. Oh, I guess I just.
Oops. Am I on or did you?
You're green. You're green.
All right. So through you, Chair, to Dan, this fertilizer stuff, chemicals, that came with the farm operation, right? So this is nothing new to this piece of property. It's just it ends up in the severed parcel. Is that correct?
Yeah, so through the chair, it's more so just the existing operation and how they used fertilizers on the property. So the fertilizer was only used on the agricultural lands, not on the severed or proposed to be severed residential lands. I think the concern was that there could be potential leaching into the well system. But again, that's outside of our jurisdictional authority. That would be something that the province would deal with.
Thank you, Counselor. Through you, Chair, to Dan. Dan, my question was regarding, it's the third attachment there. I'm just wondering, and I don't know if we can bring it up on the screen, Sophie, but just I wanted you to explain all of the lines because there's just a lot of lines going on there and they're not corresponding with the previous picture, which I believe is all in red. And then the next picture is red, blue, another blue. And could you just explain that to us a little bit? Because I'm a little dumbfounded there. Thank you.
Yeah, so through the chair, I believe that's the applicant's attempt to kind of show the boundaries of the proposed severed parcel versus the remnant parcel. So they've got the entirety of the proposed severed lands in the dark blue
Yes.
boundary. And then they're showing the edge of cultivation field in that dashed blue line kind of behind it.
Okay.
So they're just kind of showing that they are encroaching a little further on the one side of the cultivated agricultural field, but they're also giving back on the other side. And the intent in this particular case is really just to create a perpendicular square boundary for the severed parcel. And then all the red lines are effectively just locations of where the well, the septic systems are, and then the distances from the proposed property lines to the structures.
Thank you for clarifying that. Can I just ask a follow-up question about the gap between the dark blue and the dashed blue? Are they, what's going to happen in those areas?
Yeah, so through the chair, so I guess I'll talk to the, in this case, it would be east, but also the planned north section. That particular section would become part of the residential lot, so that small quarter. And then on the back side of the equation, anything that would be in that area currently right now would need to be cleaned up as part of the application, and that would be returned to farmland purposes.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have a couple of things for you, Dan. So number one is the habitable. I realize it's a condition and that they have to prove it, etc. But if you Google this house, it comes up as 2023, and I'm sure this house has not been habitable. And so it just makes you wonder if this is a setup for a property to tear down the house and build a new house. And I don't know if you have anything to speak to that, but my second comment is about the well and the leaching in there. So, you know, whether it's habitable, is anybody checking the water? And if it's not habitable, has it just sat there all this time and it's in really bad shape? So again, maybe it's outside of our thing, but we still are aware of a possibility. Those are my comments. If you have anything to add, thank you.
Yes, so through the chair, with respect to the consideration of habitable dwelling, I would say that our chief building official did identify that as well as myself. So that was included as a condition that basically our chief building official has to be satisfied that the structure is in fact in a habitable state in order to sever it. So if there are improvements that need to be made to the existing dwelling, they'll have to do that as part of the condition clearance on this particular case, which honestly is not uncommon in some of these applications that we do receive. Could they tear it down and build down another house? They could, like a future owner could. There's nothing that would stop them from doing so. But with that said, they can't do it in advance of the severance being completed. So the house would still have to be in a habitable state upon the completion of the severance. And then in terms of the well, we've kind of gone back and forth about these particular requirements as part of severance conditions. We've generally backed off on requiring well testing and things like that, as it's technically within the provincial jurisdiction. But it is something if the committee does want to see a condition added, that we be satisfied that there is habitable or potable water on site, we can certainly do that as well.
Thank you, Dan. Maybe what we could do is make the habitable include a water test. Because is it really habitable if it doesn't have a good working well? Is a thought.
Yeah, so the habitable would refer specifically to the dwelling as a structure. So I would, if committee wanted to proceed down that road, I would suggest just adding a new condition that the applicant be required to confirm that the existing water source on site is considered potable water to the satisfaction of the municipality.
Thank you. What does everybody think about that? Yeah, I actually wondered that too. On this drawing with all the red lines and stuff, it doesn't actually, we've got the septic, but it doesn't actually show where the well is. Is he coming online? Okay, alrighty, thank you. We'll just wait for a minute for
Oh, hello? Sorry,
hello?
council?
Hi, is this Mr. McCallum?
I apologize very much. I've been trying to get audio to work and I finally just got it.
Okay.
I'm
Could
so
you-
sorry for that and the delay. In terms of the house habitability, the house has already been under some renovation to ensure that it is up to date with everything, and it will be fully habitable. As for the well, a new well was just installed approximately 2 months ago with a fresh water test.
That's excellent. Okay, great. Thank you for adding. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Um, Not that I can think of. Yes, I know you're questioning about the lines, and yes, Dan answered everything perfectly as per what the intent was with where the lines were, the dotted lines and the red
Okay.
setbacks.
Okay. And do you have any idea where the well is on here, just while we're looking at this?
Yeah, so the well would be between the outbuilding and the house.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, thank you very much. Anything else to add?
Unless you guys have any questions, which I'd be more than happy to answer now that I can talk to you. So again, I apologize for that.
No.
Okay, I think we're good. Okay, thank you. Councillor Beers?
There we go. Through you to Dan. I don't know whether we refer this back to the chief building official on these well things or not. He can make a decision on that as to, does it need to be tested or what? We've done a number of these things not requiring any test. So how deep do we go? The other question I have for you, Dan, is when are we obligated to go to an external agency that's provincial or federal, like MECP? Like, I don't think we have to, do we? Like this land, this house has been lived in, it's part of a farm now. Nothing's really changing other than it's being severed. Can you comment on that or not?
Yeah, so through the chair, what I would say is we do circulate all of our applications to provincial ministries, so they should be notified that we have received a severance application. More so from your question though, is it our obligation to identify a potential concern? The answer is yes. So we would identify that to an environmental officer at the province, and they would follow up.
Thank you, Dan. I think that with Mr. McCallum's answer of the renovations and the new well 2 months ago with the clear water test, I think I'm satisfied with my questions. So does anybody else have anything they want to add? Okay, so we have a motion here that consent application B-15-2025 filed by Adam McCallum on behalf of David Burma in order to sever a residential residence surplus to a farm operation as a result of consolidation from a lot legally described as concession 12, part of lot 15 in the municipality of Middlesex Center, County of Middlesex, and known municipally as 5385 Carriage Road, be granted, subject to the following conditions. So we have a total of 18 conditions. Do I need to read these?
No.
No. Okay. So we have a total of 18 conditions that everybody should have already read. And further, that the reason for granting consent application B-15-2025 include the proposal is consistent with the provincial planning statement. The proposal conforms to the County of Middlesex official plan and the Middlesex Center official plan, and subject to the conditions, the 18 conditions, the proposal would comply with the Middlesex Center comprehensive zoning bylaw. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor Bears, Councillor Shipley, and all in favor? And that is carried. Okay, thank you. Okay, and so our next application, oh, okay, so right there. Our next application, oh, okay, just a sec. Our next application for consent is B2-2024 and B1-2026 for 24538 New Ontario Road. And Marion Francis Ramos Cabral is the planner in attendance to give us an overview of the application. Go ahead. Thank you, Marion.
Thank you, Chair, and through you to the rest of the committee. So the purpose of this report is to provide a recommendation to the committee with regard to the request to amend a decision of a consent file. So that's specifically B2-2024, and also to provide a recommendation for a new consent application B1-2026 in order to establish an easement related to the surplus farm dwelling severance in B2-2024. So this irregularly shaped parcel is located on the south of Headley Road, northeast of New Ontario Road, and west of Vanek Road. It does contain active agricultural lands on the northern portion, as well as woodland and a single detached dwelling and accessory buildings in the south portion. In the first request, the applicant intends to revise condition number 12, which relates to the requirement to have the applicant have hydro service fully contained within the boundaries of the proposed severed parcel. The applicant does wish to change this condition so that it does allow for the establishment of an easement for the hydro line if it cannot locate the line within the boundaries. And the second consent is to specifically request that easement for the existing hydro service, and that would extend through the retained parcel to the severed, to service the severed lot. And the effect of these two applications would allow for the applicant to request and obtain a 6-meter wide easement that's approximately 150 meters in length from the west side of Vanek Drive through the woodland into the severed lot. The applicant has indicated that running a new or relocating a new hydro line through the New Ontario Road is unfeasible, as there's currently no service on that portion of New Ontario Road. It would also result in a substantial undertaking to add a line from Vanek Road from the north or from the south side of the property. So the request to amend the condition was circulated to staff, and the new application was circulated to area residents, agencies, and staff. Public Works and Engineering reviewed this proposal and requested that the reference plan associated with the original consent file be updated to include this easement if it is approved. Additionally, they had requested 2 new conditions to add to B2-2024 related to road widening dedication on Vanek Road, as well as daylight triangles along Headley Drive and New Ontario Road and Vanek Road. Staff reviewed both requests to amend the original decision of the original decision and to establish the easement. We're generally satisfied that the intent of the severance policies for surplus farm dwelling severance can still be maintained with both of these requests. Of course, it's still our preference that we continue to require hydro services to be wholly located within the severed parcel. However, we recognize that there are unique circumstances where it is truly unfeasible for an applicant to establish a new hydro line within the right-of-way to service the property. So additionally, staff would not support the enlargement of the severed lot so that the condition could be fulfilled as is. And this would require the like a severed lot to be taken from New Ontario Road all the way to Vinac Road, which exceeds what we would typically permit. So as a result, we are satisfied that the request to amend conditions of B2 2024 be amended and granted as it pertains to condition number 12, and with the addition of 2 new conditions related to the road widening dedications and daylight triangles. And in review of the request to establish the easement, local and provincial policy does allow for adjustments for legal or technical reasons. And in this case, is for the provision of hydro servicing. So as a result, we do recommend that B1 2026 also granted, subject to the 6 conditions in the staff report. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience or online that wishes to comment on the application? You want to just state your name and push the button there? Yep, thank you.
Hi, thank you. Through the chair, my name is Courtney Sinclair. I'm the agent for the applicant. I don't have any comments, but I'm here to answer questions.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anyone on the committee have any questions? Okay, Councillor Arts?
Through your chair, I've gotten no issues with the easement agreement. The only question I have is, it's underground, which is a good idea, going through a bush, but the width of the easement in the future, is somebody going to be responsible to keeping the brush down, seeing that there is an underground, like between the either property owner? I don't have to tell you what to do, but it'd be kind of nice in your easement agreement if maybe you came to an understanding on who is supposed to do maintenance to keep the brush clear. So thank you.
Thank you. Marion, do you, or Courtney, would one of you like to answer that?
It was just an.
I don't think they want to.
It wasn't an ask, it was just a hint.
Yeah, I agree. I believe that would be an appropriate thing to address in the joint use and maintenance agreement as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Arts, because in my head, it was above ground. Okay, so if no one else on the committee has any further questions, we have a motion that the decision of consent application B2-2024 filed by Rena Vanderhovel on behalf of Hillbrow Farms Limited, granted by the committee on March the 20th, 2024, in order to sever a resident surplus to a farm operation as a result of consolidation from a lot legally described as part of Lot 21, Concession 9 North in the municipality of Middlesex Center, County of Middlesex, and municipally known as 24538 New Ontario Road be amended and granted. Further, that the consent B 2024 be subject to the following 16 conditions. And further, that the reason for granting consent application B2-2024 include the proposal is consistent with the provincial policy statement, the proposal conforms to the County of Middlesex official plan and the Middlesex Center official plan, and subject to the conditions, the proposal would comply with the Middlesex Center comprehensive zoning bylaw. And further, that the consent application B1-2026 filed by Rena Vanderhovel on behalf of Hillbrow Farms Limited to establish a servicing maintenance, there you go, a servicing, maintenance, and access easement across the retained parcel for the severed parcel to permit the existing hydro line service to the severed parcel for a lot legally described as part of Lot 21, Concession 9 North in the municipality of Middlesex Center, County of Middlesex, and municipally known as 24538 New Ontario Road be granted. And further, that consent B1-2026 be subject to the following 6 conditions. And further, that the reason for granting consent application B1-2026 include the proposal is consistent with the Provincial Planning Statement 2024. The proposal conforms to the County of Middlesex official plan and the Middlesex Center official plan, and the proposal complies with the Middlesex Center comprehensive zoning bylaw. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Coles? Councillor Beers, all in favor? And that is carried. Okay, next up, there's no correspondence items to note for the January 28th, 2026 Committee of Adjustments. Does anyone on the committee, is there any other business to note? Okay. So then, in that case, the motion is that the Committee of Adjustments for the Municipality of Middlesex Center adjourns the January 28th, 2026 committee meeting at 4:06 p.m. Can I have a mover? Councillor Beers, and a seconder? Councillor Coles, all in favor? And that is carried. Thank you.